Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're looking at grief. There is only one word for this episode. Wrong. I think I said the same thing about the last episode the pack was in, Upgrade. Seems to be a theme with them. This episode takes the cake, though, and it takes Anubis, god of death. We're talking about the Egyptian god, not the one from Stephen King's work or Stargate SG-1. He who controls Anubis controls life and death. Xanatos doesn't care about that. He simply wants immortality. The pack is along to see his will is done by the Emir, a man skilled in the ways of Egyptian lore and magic. But when you play God, you often summon the devil. And I've said that before. Spoilers are in the 2020 moments. Info from Ask Greg is in the According to Greg Bits, Season 2, Episode 31, Grief. Reasons for existence. To explore the theme of death, but not touch any religion in doing so. To show the pack's true selves. To show Xanatos is dead serious about immortality. To give kids nightmares. Main antagonist, the pack, the Emir, and Anubis. Times, January 25th, 1996. Locations, the Sphinx, Egypt. Grief. And we open with an establishing shot of the Sphinx and the pyramid. Wow, not really a foreboding title there at all. We start with a preview, which is about the pack and their upgrade. There's also Xanatos and Owen talking about the Emir way back in Double Jeopardy. According to Greg, Michael Reeves was thrilled about this ep because he got to use a story idea from Batman, the animated series, but it was a rejected story idea. That would have been a cool episode for that show. But, I don't know, you get too much magic in Batman and things get a little bit weird. I think probably the most the magic envelope was pushed was with the Lazarus pits. Alright, so inside the Sphinx, Coyote is carrying pillars. He's got an upgrade. I don't know if I like it, since the bottom half of it makes, kind of look like a bird down there. He's got the three-toed foot, and then the ankle is up top, and the knee is more way up higher. Like a bird, really. A weird-looking chicken. Yeah. So the top half is okay, though. I mean, except for the hands. Those are weird. Creepy. It does have a sort of Egyptian flavor to it. Now, Wolf is helping him, but he's not happy. Wolf is beholden to Xanatos for getting him and the rest of the pack out of America. Oh, okay, that's how that happened. Why would they have a whole lot of trouble getting out of America? Like, a couple of them there can fly, and Wolf, I don't know, just run across the border. It's not that hard. You're getting out, not in, so I don't know. It's not like you're getting on an aircraft with that and using your passport or something. Alright, so the creep squad is back. Never noticed how much they all match the Egyptian decor till now. An Egyptian steps out of the shadows. His name is, well, I don't know his name. They just call him the Emir. He's been mentioned a few times by Xanatos. Remember in The Edge? He was the first time. He's working on something special for David, apparently, and it looks like we're about to find out what that is. He tells them that they are almost ready to begin. They need to get some Tana leaves for the ceremony. He remarks that the healing may begin. Well, that's interesting, considering this is obviously a Xanatos plan, and those plans don't usually involve healing. Here he is, looking guy. Looks like he's a little bit older. Got some gray in his hair. Got a little scroll. Apparently he is used to the pack, because he doesn't seem bothered by the fact that he's working with a werewolf, two mangled half-robot semi-humans, and a giant robot that has half its face ripped off and looks exactly like Xanatos. According to Greg, the Emir started as a random line of dialogue that was meant to show how powerful Xanatos is, not to mention how casual he is about that power. Remember in The Edge when Owen said that the next thing on the agenda was a meeting with the Emir, and then Xanatos told him to put it off to like 2 o'clock. As Coyote is walking off to get magical leaves, Hyena starts hitting on him. She asks if he wants to make sparks fly. Yeah, that's the quote, exactly. I'm sorry, did she mean what I think she means? And are we still in a Disney Kids show? Why, yes, I think she did. I don't want to think about how that would work, Coyote obviously doesn't either, because he says later, perhaps. This is probably the best he can do as far as getting rid of her, since she's not the type to take no for an answer. Delay is his best course of action until he can be rid of her. Ah, this shot is so romantic. She's putting her clawed hand over the glass bubble that his mangled head is in. Ugh. Elisa and the Gargoyles arrive and see Coyote's hulking form flying over. Aerodynamics, again, they have no power here. He's carrying some sort of a jug. He lands between the arms of the Sphinx, pushes a few hieroglyphs, and walks in the opening that a secret panel reveals. Now they know why they're here. Goliath says that they are here to protect the land from the evil that is the pack. Well, nowadays, they went there, they could protect the land from the evil that is the oppressive regime that persecutes anybody who doesn't follow a certain religion, or their version of it. Inside, the Emir has Coyote light up the torches with his laser beam. Now the Emir speaks the sacred words for summoning Anubis, the jackal-headed god of the dead. Part of the summoning says that the summoner will compel Anubis to do his will. And here the idiot siblings are with the Tana leaves. They look like kids playing in the fall. This episode is so wrong. Note, Tana leaves, according to Gargwiki. Tana is a fictional plant created for the 1940s film The Mummy's Hand and its many sequels. In the movie, Tana leaves are important for the survival of the undead mummy Karis and are used in various ways to control the mummy. Tana leaves, sometimes spelled with just one N, have been used in mummy stories ever since. The name was invented by Griffin J., one of the writers of The Mummy's Hand, who initially intended to call them Tanya leaves after his wife. Isn't that sweet? Anubis materializes with smoke swirling around him and lightning flashing. You can't really see a whole lot of his details. It's just sort of like this dark shape inside this whirlwind, and he's got red eyes. Everybody's standing around staring at this. You sure he didn't read the Necronomicon and summon Nyarlathotep in the Crawling Chaos? Remember, there was the one story where the magician or whoever it was got stuck in the pyramid and saw that the aforementioned chaos and Nyarlathotep. Yeah, it was a neat little story. Alright, if I ever get some time, I would totally write an epic-length fanfic crossing over the Lovecraft world with Gargoyles. I've said that before, but honestly, I probably will not do that, even if I do get the time, because I don't think I could do either of those universes justice. The Gargoyles jump into action. There's a bit of a throwdown involving impractical saws in Hyena's arms, Coyote shooting everything, Bronx chewing on Coyote, and Coyote lassoing Goliath. There's also a scene where we almost get to see Wolf punch Goliath in the face without an intervening camera angle. Almost. This whole ep was a miracle to get past S&P in the first place, so this scene shouldn't surprise me either. And there's Bronx chewing up the back of Coyote. Bronx hates robots as much as I do. The Emir wants to send everyone out. Coyote, however, is a loyal robot and wants to make sure Xanatos' interests are protected. Xanatos wants immortality, he reveals. Oh, what a surprise. He says that Xanatos will want to know that he's achieved immortality. That does bring up an interesting question. When you are said to be immortal by some spell, how do you know? Do you wait until you start to age? It's a little bit late. Perhaps you cut yourself, but if the immortality isn't one that protects you against external injury, kind of like the immortality of the elves in Lord of the Rings, they were just, ageless, not actually truly deathless, then how do you know? You could have a side business selling immortality and tell people that it just makes them eternally young. And then you'd be long out of the city by the time they realized it was a lie. Then here's the Emir waving his finger in Coyote's nasty face. It's like that paperclip in the old version of MS Word. Looks like you're trying to achieve immortality. Can I screw that up for you? After everyone leaves, the Emir and Anubis have an esoteric philosophical debate about death. Well, yes, this is a Disney show aimed at kids, but it's in the 1990s. I love it. Side note, Tony Shalhoub is the voice actor for the Emir. Tony, who plays Monk. Yeah, I know, I was surprised too. The Emir wants Anubis to bring his son back. His son died in a pointless car accident. Anubis says that all death is pointless, and that is the point. Oh, that's uplifting. It's also meaningless. Like, those two sentences or one sentence, I guess, doesn't even make any sense. Whatever. Anubis also says that which is gone must be left to rest. So, is there an afterlife? Seems so, since rest is different from being annihilated or going into oblivion. Who is in charge of this afterlife? Is there a hell? Is there a heaven? Or is it all sort of a nirvana? And if there is, what does it matter here, what we do? Anubis says that everyone will die. This, I'm assuming, includes Demona and Macbeth, which matches the Weird Sisters' prophecy that one will kill the other. There's the Emir, not looking too pleased about this whole revelation. What would you say to or ask Death if you met him? It's an interesting question. The Emir explains that because Anubis is now trapped in this realm, nothing can die. The Emir quotes the Bible and says that death has no sting. So does that mean Anubis is like Death in Discworld? Or does he perhaps have minions like Dead Like Me? Who set all this up? Who made these rules? According to Greg, he regrets not using the fact that no one could die during that time. He now wishes he'd had one of the protags, quote, die. Anubis stands strong. No son for you. He will grant one favor, and that is death. Oh, well now. Unless I am suffering incredibly, death is not a favor. Unless the afterlife is pleasant, then death only makes things worse. Meanwhile, the pack is discussing what to do with the gargoyles. Everyone wants to kill them, but because Coyote does not have orders regarding what to do with the gargoyles, if they show up, they get to live. I would probably just have that as standard programming for him, because they always seem to show up. I guess this goes along with the keeping robots programmed not to kill people thing. 2020 moment. Now we know that Coyote is programmed for vengeance, but he's apparently not programmed for murder or execution. He will take orders, but not from his fellow pack members, even though he says he would enjoy dealing with the gargoyles. Is that just me, or does Coyote seem to be getting more of a personality? I like that. Here we have the Alpha and the wannabe Alpha, both world-class geniuses, Coyote and Wolf, vying for control again. While Coyote won't let them kill the gargoyles, Jackal has the great idea of going inside to watch the ceremony and, quote, safeguard Xanatos' interest. Evidently, whoever programmed Coyote, and I really hate to blame David Xanatos because he is a very suspicious person. By that, I mean he suspects other people because he knows what they're capable of. Anyway, that they skimped on the suspicion factor. Right, look at this man's face. Or machine, whatever the heck he is. I don't even know anymore. I mean, he took out his eyeball. What? God. They're so disgusting. Anyway, anybody can tell from looking at Jackal that the last thing he is going to do is safeguard Xanatos' interests. He's going to safeguard his own interests. Halftime. This ep is one I really am shocked Disney allowed to be created in the first place. I mean, they thought Black Cauldron was bad. Ooh, bad as in dark. Much less broadcast. They banned Deadly Force because it had guns in it. Never mind that every other episode has guns in it, on the grounds that it might be too violent since Elisa gets shot. That episode taught valuable lessons about gun safety and responsibility. This episode, however, is purely disturbing. But it also opens a lot of interesting questions and answers a few of them as they regard the afterlife, death, and deities in the Gargoyle universe. It's very difficult to discuss death while studiously avoiding a reference to religion. Sorry, but even sweeping generalizations like, I grant one boon, death is pointless, and everyone dies, doesn't hold true for all faiths. In Christianity, death is a curse. It's also not pointless. Heck, not many religions say death is pointless. To top that off, in Christianity, not everyone will die, by many beliefs, as the last generation will be caught up in the clouds at Christ's return in the sky, which is not actually the second return, but that will come later. We'll come back next time and we discover what happens when you become an avatar for a god, and what happens when a sociopath gets the power of life and death. Well, what'd you think about this episode? It does open a lot of interesting questions, so remember you can answer those in the comments, either here or on the blog. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.